Well, good morning, everybody. Here we are out on another ride again this morning. We're on our way to Dilley, Texas, to see a very interesting guy named Hank Garagiola, who's ridden his BMW GS 1000 over 500,000 miles all over the world. And he owns a BMW shop in Dilley, Texas, of all places. So we're on our way up there to visit him and talk to him and see if we can get some stories about his adventures. We're just riding into Devine, Texas right now. One of the nice things about Texas is some of the small towns have some interesting names. Devine and Dilley. It's pretty cool. I'm riding with a couple of good friends. The guy up there in the front is Dennis. He's riding a BMW GS 1000 or 1100. I don't know what it is, but it's one of those big old off-road bikes. And then behind him is my friend David, and then I'm behind both of them. And the interesting thing about all of us is Dennis up there in the front, he's 72. David is 72 or 73, I believe, and I'm 73. So, you know, we're just a bunch of old geezers out here on their motorcycles riding around having a good time. So a lot of what I talk about might be getting old, or might be about getting old. Like my good friend Bill Zehner said, getting old is fun. He said being old really sucks. And that's true. Being old really, really sucks unless you know how to do it right. And there are some people who know how to do it right. And I think I'm riding with a couple of them now, and to tell you the truth, I think I know how to do it right as well. Another great quotation by my friend Bill Zehner is, youth, energy, and beauty will never overcome devious old age. And sometimes us old geezers can navigate the world a little bit better than some of these younger folks. Not that we're in competition. We've been down that road before, and probably wouldn't go back to it if we had a chance to do it. But one of the things that we do regret sometimes is that the younger generation that's coming up behind us is traveling that same road that we've traveled, don't sometimes hold us in the highest esteem. That's part of our culture. And old people are kind of discarded. But I think we're doing it right. We're having a good time. And we're looking forward to talking to this guy, Hank Garagiola, who's done some pretty fantastic things. Now, I don't know all of it yet, but from what I've read on his website, his BMW was about to roll over to 500,000 miles, and he decided he didn't want to hit the 500,000 mile mark in the U.S., so he planned the trip across Africa, and he rode that motorcycle across Africa. And he's got some fantastic pictures of the desert and some of the things he saw in Africa. And the bike hit the 500,000 mile mark. So that should be really interesting to see a BMW that's been 500,000 miles. And I'll bet he's got some great stories to tell. We're coming up on the highway now. Probably going to turn up here to the right and head on down to Hondo. It's another interesting little Texas town. Hondo, and you see the sign there, and another name of a town is Natalia. Then we've got another town called Poteet. See, I'm recording right now. That's my friend David. I'm recording. He doesn't know I'm talking to him. I'm going to get ahead of him now. Yeah, my dear old friend Bill Zehner was my old coach. I don't mean an old coach. I mean that he was my coach who was teaching me how to be old, because Bill knew how to do it. One of the things he taught me about getting old was, when you get old, you just don't give a damn what people think about you anymore. That's quite a bit of freedom, actually, when you think about it. And you know, old Bill, he seemed to be that way. He was a unique character. Another thing he taught me was quit trying to process everything in your head before you say it. If you think it, just go ahead and say it. And I saw him do that a lot. Sometimes I thought he was going to get in trouble, but he never did. People always loved him. So I miss him a lot, but I learned a lot from him too. Bill claimed that when you turned 70, you officially entered geezerhood. And I remember when I turned 70, I got a lot of cards from him welcoming me to geezerhood. That I was now an official old geezer. And we're riding around with 3 geezers this morning. You might call it the Geezer Patrol. Yeah, one of the things you get riding through Texas that you might not enjoy in some of the other places in the country is every once in a while, like just a moment ago, nice aroma of cow manure drifts across the highway. Actually, it's not all that bad. It's got real earthy aroma. Makes you feel that you're really outdoors doing something. I feel very fortunate to have entered geezerhood in good health, mentally and physically. We're still a spirit of adventure, still wanting to do things like I'm doing right now. And I feel fortunate to have my geezer friends. They're a lot of fun too. One of the things that makes them fun is they have things to talk about. And they're interesting things because these people think. Now, we do have one person in our group that we've allowed in who's not yet officially a geezer. His name is Peter. But Peter has so many exceptional qualities, and he's such a deep thinker and such a very nice, wonderful person that we've allowed him into our circle of geezers, and he does just fine. He rides a motorcycle too. He's not with us this morning, unfortunately, because he's taking a class somewhere. Another thing you'll notice about geezers is they tend to be more careful. You notice that Dennis just put his turn signal on when he changed lanes. Now, not everybody does that. Now, you'll also notice that the geezers who ride motorcycles tend to wear protective gear. Now, you see a lot of geezers riding Harleys because, you know, geezers are the only ones who can afford those things. So, you know, you have to wait till you're about 60 or 70 before you've accumulated enough money to buy a Harley. And so you see a lot of them on the road, but they don't tend to wear the same gear that other geezers do. Now you see there, Dennis just put his right turn signal back on to indicate that he was changing lanes. And the important thing here is that when he got back in the lane, you notice he turned the signal off. So I'm going to have to guess, even though I've only known Dennis for a week and I do know how old he is, I don't think Dennis is a real, genuine, authentic geezer. Because if he was a genuine, authentic geezer, he would have left that turn signal blinking for the next 10 or 15 miles. That's what geezers do, you know, they drive around with their turn signals blinking. So I'm going to have to be a little bit suspicious about him and his geezer qualifications. We'll continue to check that out. So next Saturday we'll be having our first Philosopher's Porch in honor of our departed friend Bill Zehner, who started this custom among our group. Now that's Philosopher's Porch spelled with an F, F-I-L-O-S-O-F-E-R, Philosopher's Porch. And what that is the third Saturday of every month we gather together and we sit around and we smoke cigars and we drink wine and whiskey and we talk about things. And sometimes we talk about really important things like the meaning of life and religion, and we try to stay away from politics as much as possible, but every once in a while we do drift into that area. And we're able to do it in a civil way, although we all don't agree politically. But we don't hate each other because we have differing political beliefs. And sometimes our conversations get pretty funny, actually. One of the funniest conversations that we're going to miss not having Bill with us, but we might still be able to pull it off, is our in-depth analytical conversations about bowel movements. Now, you know, that's pretty stereotypical. Old guys love to sit around and talk about their bowel movements. As a matter of fact, some old guys think that's the best thing that's happened to them in any given day. They had a good bowel movement. And old Bill was just so funny. He used to talk about his 12-inchers. He was so proud. He said, I had a 12-incher this morning. So we're going to miss that, but I think we've got another young up-and-coming geezer, David, the other David, who we've also, as part of our group, I think he might pick up that part of the conversation just fine. One of these days I want to record one of these conversations because they are pretty enlightening. So this Saturday, this one will be in honor of Bill, and I'm sure we will toast Bill many times, and we'll all tell a lot of stories about him because there's a lot of stories to tell about him. Bill was an artist, very fine artist. We have a website that I built for him. It's easy to remember, called BillZehner.com. BillZaner. BillZehner.com. And you can go on that site and see his artwork and listen to some of his wisdom and wit. And we spent the last 3 years recording those videos for his legacy.